What does it mean to actually take refuge in the teaching? It's such a commonplace thing to, by tradition, take refuge in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, in the Sangha. But what does it really mean inside? What does it change in you when you take refuge in the Dhamma? And how to know if you really have faith in the teachings of the Buddha or not? What does it change when you have faith? So going to the first point, taking refuge. Taking refuge only makes sense if you feel that you're in danger. Being offered a refuge only makes sense if you feel you're in danger. If you just look around and you feel like you're in a comfortable place and you can go in any direction and you have full of options everywhere, you can go everywhere you want, do everything you want, then why should you need to go for this exit? This particular exit that somebody opens and says, come here, this is the way out, this is the refuge. It doesn't make sense if you don't feel like you need to go there for refuge. If your current situation is felt as acceptable, then you don't need to go anywhere else. But if it's like your house is burning down and you're running around desperately trying to find an exit, calling help, help, nobody coming, and trying to find a way out, seeing that this house is burning down and I'm with it, then when a door opens and somebody says, here, come here, this is the way out, then you don't think twice and you run in that direction, only in that direction. All energy directed only there. And how could you possibly think of going in another direction? So that's what it means, that's how it feels when we are properly taking refuge in the Dhamma. So right there we can realize quickly that if we think that we have another refuge, if we keep something else as our refuge, then we're not really taking refuge in the Dhamma, and we don't have faith in the Dhamma. Feeling oneself is in danger, feeling oneself as without refuge, that's also the basis for faith in the teachings of the Buddha, because that's exactly what the Buddha teaches, teaching that whatever you might hang on to, whatever comfort zone you might have, whatever you might find refuge, normally in the life, it's not a true refuge. So if you think of something in the world as a refuge, even not knowingly, just automatically, it's what we all do. Automatically, not knowingly, we take refuge in all kinds of things. Use all kinds of things to kind of protect ourselves from suffering. Use all kinds of things to make sure that we have some kind of continual source of happiness, sensual happiness. So first of all, in order to even start to have faith in the Buddha and in his teachings, is to realize that these things are not something that we can depend on. And we nonetheless depend on them. And that's horrifying. That you're totally depending on something that you can't depend on, that's undependable, that's totally outside of your command. Why does the Buddha say to take the Dhamma as an island, to be one's own island? Why island? What's the use of an island? To see the value in an island is to realize that you're shipwrecked at sea. When one is shipwrecked at sea and has only little flimsy branches rotting away to hold them up, then an island represents everything. An island is security, safety, dry land, solid ground, place of safety. That's an island, that's its value. But only the one who's lost at sea can appreciate its value. So in order to reach the island, we have to see value in being on the island. And we have to let go of that flimsy branch that we're hanging on to. If we're still hanging on to it, and yet thinking that we should go for the island, those are two things that contradict each other. The flimsy branch, we have to see that it's useless, that it's worthless, that it's just rotting away, that it does not hold us up, it doesn't provide us with any security. It's just a temporary little thing that we've happened to come across. And to be able to swim to the island, we have to let go of it. So when we keep other options for ourselves, other means of escaping from ourselves, from our suffering, from our situation, from our problems, whatever means that might be, if we keep them and hold on to them, then it's like we're keeping hold of that flimsy branch instead of swimming for the island. That's not having faith. If one doesn't have faith in what the Buddha teaches, then also precisely because of this lack of faith, there's no way to let go of whatever form of pleasure or sensual happiness normally offers them their habitual source of comfort. There's no way to let go of wrong views, wrong ideas. There's no way to develop the path. Saying that, it doesn't mean that we should just sort of try to blindly have faith and just kind of believe everything that the Buddha tells with no base. Because, I mean, just as I said, faith, proper faith, requires the base of already seeing for oneself the problem in one's own situation. If you already see, if I love anything, I will lose it. If I hope for anything in this world, eventually I will be disappointed. If I depend on anything, whatever I could depend on, there's no certainty in it, there's no security in it. And then the Buddha tells exactly this. He says, you are haunted by old age, by sickness, and by death. You're pursued by them. He talks about nothing but facts that most people don't actually believe. So when we're talking about believing, having faith in the Buddha's teaching, we're actually just talking about having belief or having understanding and knowledge of what are the actual facts of your life. The fact that you will die to begin with, or the fact that your mind is not your own and is ruled by craving. If we don't see this, at least to some extent, and if we're not truly fed up of it, at least to some extent, then we will automatically just be searching for what we want. We won't really be searching for wisdom, and we won't see the value in real wisdom when we find it. And whatever we do will finally just be to satisfy ourselves. So then if this is the case, then even if we say we are Buddhist, if we call ourselves a Buddhist, if we go to temples, or if we read the suttas or listen to Dhamma teachings, still everything that we do will be just to maintain our own comfort and try to escape from disagreeable things that we don't like. And so therefore it's opposite of the Buddha's teaching. It's not following it. Even if we say then we have faith, all we have is bad faith or hypocrisy. And we will find all kinds of reasons, excuses, explanations for why we don't progress more, or why we are not further along the path than we could be, than we should be. Like we have too much to do, or too many responsibilities, or this or that big important subject takes so much of our attention, and or just, I don't know, I'm born in the wrong time, and I should have been born in the time of the Buddha, and then I could have practiced, or whatever reason we might find. We will find these reasons to excuse ourselves so that we don't have to take responsibility for the fact that we don't put the necessary effort, and we don't do what is actually necessary, and we don't give up what has to be given up in order to follow the teaching, because we don't actually have faith in the teaching, and we don't actually see the true motivation for practicing. When somebody truly has faith, we should kind of understand what it looks like. For that person, Dhamma can never be just like a hobby or a side project or a sort of secondary interest. It's always the top priority. It doesn't change to priority number 2 when a friend comes to visit or we're busy at work. Somebody whose aim is truly Dhamma and who truly has faith that this is the only true refuge, and that who takes refuge in nothing else, can never accept to blame their circumstances or situation or something outside for not practicing, because they have nothing else to depend on other than finding this refuge in themselves, through letting go of what is wrong and developing what is right, through letting go of ignorance and developing wisdom. For the one who has faith, they don't see any other kind of escape from suffering than what is actually the true escape. And so at no time can they ever accept to lose sight of that goal.